Joining me now is Congressman Bobby Scott, Democrat of Virginia. He's also the vice chair of the Congressional Gun Violence Prevention Task Force. And John Adler. Adler is the president of the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. He met with Vice President Biden last month to discuss gun control. Let me first thank both of you for joining me tonight.
Thank you, sir.
It's good to be here.
Congressman, you come from Virginia. This is not exactly gun control country. But doesn't it seem different this time? I mean, do you see an opportunity for legislation?
I do, Reverend Al. 30,000 people are killed by firearms every year. Most of them, unfortunately, commit suicide, but over 10,000 are murdered by handguns, and nothing has been done about this over the years. But this is different. I think the mass killing of school children at a school has provoked a different reaction, and I think people are ready to do whatever it takes to defend and protect our children.
Now, in a statement, the NRA argued that the gun owners are being blamed in this whole situation. And, I mean, I don't know that they're blaming gun owners as much as we're trying to deal with how we regulate and deal with gun possession, gun purchasing, and the types of things that's available, Congressman. I don't think anyone's demonizing gun owners.
Well, and I don't think there's any one solution. It has to be a comprehensive approach, and one of the terms that we're frequently hearing now are evidence-based solutions. Right. That is not slogan-based, but evidence-based. And I think there's some things that will be recommended. A background check to make sure that the wrong people aren't getting firearms. A substantial portion of the gun acquisitions are done without any background check at all. We need to see what we can do with the military assault-type weapons and the huge magazines that contain 30, 50, some I understand are 100 bullets. Why do you need more than 10 bullets at a time in one magazine? We need to make sure that straw purchases are condemned and criminalized. The penalty for straw purchases, where you go buy a gun for somebody because you can pass a background check when they can't, those have very little penalty at all. We need to strengthen those penalties. But we also need to do with mental health, making sure that those who have mental health challenges get help so that they don't get into the situation where it gets worse.
It must be a comprehensive plan. Let me go to you, John Adler. You and your membership at the you represent federal law enforcement officers. Does it feel different to you this time? You were in discussions last month with the vice president. I'm sure you've been in discussions down through the years. Does it feel different to you this time? And if so, what's the difference?
It does. It resonates deep to the heart. It broke the heart of every American, every person in this country, irrespective of their political views, I hope. This really hit home. Now, I represent members nationwide. Some are strong Second Amendment advocates. Others believe that the ban on assault weapons should take place. But the common denominator is our children and schools. And what we can do, you said it, Reverend Al, you're right. We got to take action now. Now, it's a combination, as the congressman said. It may be a legislative approach, it may be a tactical approach, it may be a regulatory approach. But this hit home. And if this wasn't a wake-up call for everyone to lock up their ego and lock up their partisanship and get to the table and stay at the table and do what's necessary so we can protect our children.
Now, you represent federal law enforcement officers, some that agree and some disagree on how we get there. Is there common ground, you think, in this area, that we can find common ground that would really deal with this issue when we see children being buried? I mean, children.
Absolutely. Reverend Al, the congressman said it himself. There are issues with the mental health background. There are issues with straw buyers. These are not Second Amendment arguments. I just wish that everyone would understand the Second Amendment is not going to evaporate. It's here. It's meaningful. It does not cut to the core of what we're dealing with here. Again, we need to focus on the issues the congressman said. We need to focus on a very comprehensive strategy. Look at the schools. Schools are sacred grounds.
Right.
We can't have guns near schools, period.
Congressman, today there was a shooting in California where there was an armed guard there. The NRA, Mr. LaPierre, who had come out with suggesting arming teachers and putting on armed guards in schools, now today they're arguing that they're going to take their own solutions directly to Congress. Let me quote from their statement. "We will now take our commitment and meaningful contributions to members of Congress of both parties who are interested in having an honest conversation about what works and what does not work." Are you confident that Congress now is maybe ready to do something and in a different place than it's been since you've been on this committee trying to deal with this?
I think one of the important terms to use is evidence-based. You have to look at evidence. One of the, Dewey Cornell, who's a psychologist at the University of Virginia, frequently reminds us that if your prevention plan begins when the shooter is at the door, it's too late. You have to have prevention that goes back a long way. And one of the things that we need to do is to make sure that young people get on the right track and stay on the right track. We need the Youth Promise Act will provide grants to in fact do this so that you don't have young people being bullied, getting mad, gradually year after year getting worse and worse, and then start acquiring firearms, massive weapons, and showing up at the door. We need to make sure that we identify these people as early as possible and have a comprehensive evidence-based approach to youth violence and violence generally. There's not going to be any one solution. It has to be comprehensive, and you can't wait until the shooter gets at the door to fashion a prevention plan.
So you would agree with the Congressman, and that's your message to the Vice President, that we must solve the problem and we can get to common ground here.
Agreed. And if the Vice President has to go to all the groups and lock them in a room, I mean, they resolved the NHL strike, and that isn't as important as this.
Right. Congressman Bobby Scott and John Andler, I'm going to have to leave it there. Thank you both for your time tonight.